Hey there, it's Hubby with Just About Anything Garage. This is a quick intro for part 2 of Lavern's toe plate, just so you know what's going on. So enjoy the show. Oh, finally, we got a nice day here in Agawam. Man, been waiting for this. Decent weather and everything. Anyways, how about a quick update on this, on this toe plate that we're doing here. Okay, so we've done a couple things. You saw that we got that all cut out and everything's in there. I got this lined up to where it is. Okay, and we sat down and we took some measurements. This needs to actually be corrected. So final measurements, we got to get this fixed first, this middle brace where it's slightly bent, fixed before we can do our finals. But I've got the C channel set up on the bottom here, and I've taken the other C channel and set it up and checked level with that. So basically this is what we're looking at. So the top C channel, this would be the front end, it hits the toe plate. On this end, this would be the back side. So it's about 17 3/4, and it might change just a teeny hair when we get it straightened out. And these would be the spots that we're going to go, and we're going to put the 1.5 inch holes in for the rods to go slide down. So this one will go in this way, just like it is. The rods will slide into these positions, and then hit spots on the bottom for that. So what we're going to do here is, I was looking at a couple things came to mind. We're going to put the plate, right, because when we put the top one in, it's going to sit right at the top here, come over and be 2 inches, more or less. It'll sit up on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to put a plate here, right, do this. But when we do the plate, we're going to make the plate the full length that goes, we'll weld down here, go all the way down to the C channel, fit into the groove down here on the C channel, in here. And then we're going to do the same thing with the 2 inches that come up. We're going to make it slide right in to the groove at the end of the channels after we cut it there. So it'll be welded, instead of butt plate welding, it'll be welded internal, just like we did with the frame rails here, like this, only we'll have 1/4 inch plate. We will use 1/4 for that, to do that. And then what we'll do on this large piece is we're going to gusset behind it. So if, you know, if it's putting force and doing it, it won't try to bend the plate, it'll keep it. So we'll put a gusset on the flat plate heading in this direction towards the front of the truck to go ahead and keep that straight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this. We're going to box it all the way back. We'll bring it all the way into the rail, so it'll make it really difficult to twist it. So we'll have it really firmly attached. And then the jury's still out on this, but I think what we might do, seeing how we're changing, because if you remember, we were going to put the big 2x2 rod, 2x2 box steel, these suckers on the back corners coming down on a diagonal. But I think what we might do here is, seems how it'll fit right in here, we might just come up and put them, attach them to the middle, right to the sides like that, to give us some extra support, and button them right to the side of the channels. And then we're going to have something that is just isn't going to move no matter what you do. So it'll be in pretty good shape. So that's where we are. We've got a little reevaluation on the design, how we're going to do it. I'm going to have to get more 1/4 inch because we don't have any more to get that plate done. We're going to go ahead and get the torches. I got to go over to our supplier air gas to fill get the oxyacetylene torches filled, and we'll go start to heat that up. We'll put a piece of block of wood or something in here that'll fit, and we'll whack it with a hammer and see if we can get everything straightened and flattened out. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and we'll box the back of it, and we'll weld that piece on there. We'll get the channels set in it. We'll have to get the holes drilled on the channel, and we should be ready to go. This end again, they will butt weld onto these. We can't really do that. Can't do it on the bottom for sure, and you kind of could do it here if you wanted to, but I don't like the way it's shaping up in my mind how that might work, so we'll probably butt weld that. And when we do the butt welds, what we're going to do is we'll take the grinder, and this goes for all of it, and on these back sides we're going to put a 45 here, here, and here, so we got a little space, and we'll fill it with weld when we do that, because that's what you do when you do butt welds, is you do 45s, you fill the gap so that the weld takes up the spot for that, so it's just not stuck to the thing. It's a much stronger weld when you do that, and that's what we'll do. All right, so that's where we're at. We're going to go ahead and get those torches set up. We'll come back, heat nose, and see if we can't get that cross member straightened out, and then we'll go ahead and box it, and we'll put the other framing pieces up, and then it can come together. And once we put it together, once we know it's in good spot and good in good stead, we'll go ahead and we'll start to get the welding done. That ought to be good and fun. We're gonna have to pull this apart again and clean up inside the frame rails, over the frame rails, get everything nice and clean so we get good, clean, well-finished welds, so that we know that this plate will handle and pull 25,000 to 32,000 pounds. In terms of its thickness, it'll do that. In terms of the design, I'm pretty sure it'll do that. It's just, am I gonna improve my welding such that we can make sure that doesn't go? I'll be getting better the more I do it, so we'll find out. All right, so there's a quick update, and we'll be back with some more, so hang on tight. All right, so we're back at it. We got the torch set up. I knew I'd get new hoses when I went and got the tanks, because I had to get new tanks for it. Noticed the hoses were cracked. And we did that, but we got it set up. Took a couple pieces to 5 inches of wood. That is the width of these rails here. So I've already heated it up a little bit and took a big adjustable to it and bent it up a little bit, and then hammered it in the slide. And what we're going to do is we're going to reheat this. We're going to whale on it with the hammer, see if we can't get everything to flatten out a little bit and level out. And then we'll do this bottom one where it's dipped like this. We'll heat it from underneath, and we'll drive this back once we have it flattened out and whale it upwards and see if we can't get things and then, you know, touch up little areas like this. So let me put you on the stand here, point you into nowhere for the moment, get you turned at that. We'll fire the torch up. Nice hot flame going. We'll probably get that wood smoking a little bit. It gets it cherry red for sure. Gets very malleable when it's this hot. So use the old cutting tip. Gets good and hot. There we go. Got the wood on fire. Before we get a really good fire going. Okay, let's turn the torch off for a moment before it gets too cool. Flat there. Let's do here. All right, that don't look too bad. See if we can get something behind it, pop it out, and then we'll slide it into the other place. Yeah, big bar. we'll probably heat it again and use the adjustable there to get it upwards. So we can get it a little bit more level. See if we can get this out of here. Yeah, yeah, it is in there tight. Of course it would be. Okay. Get a little leverage on here. Get behind it. There we go. And pop it out. There we go. Just so happen to have a second one here, which we'll pop into there after we heat the bottom of it. And we'll probably put the crescent on it and pull it up a little first. Let's go ahead and heat that up. Enriched fire. Ooh, you should feel the heat coming off of that. Hit a little in the back too, because then maybe we can well it forward and straighten it up a little. Cherry red. All right. Let's put this in the middle. See if we can't get it upwards. Yeah, there it goes. Put this in here. Come up to the bottom. Not quite. See if it's still malleable. You can get the wrench back on it. Got that dimple right there. Let's heat that dimple up, and then we'll hit it with the hammer. It's a lot better than it was. Doesn't take much when you localize that heat. Do around the edges so they'll fold outwards a little bit. Okay. Where's the hammer? Really? There it is. That's dimpled pretty good. Dimpled darn good. Okay, let's heat it again. Make sure that this is in view. Oops, popped it out. Stay on the front edge a little bit. Fairly thin. It's only like a quarter. The frames are made of like a quarter, so it's cooling quickly. You can get a bigger area here. Put the torch down and hit it quick. They came out a little bit. Where's my block? Where'd it go? One on the floor. Where's the other one? Jeez, I'm creepers. I don't know if you guys do it, but I keep putting stuff down and it keeps disappearing. All right, come on. Here it is. It slid off the side of the rail. Hit itself. Did they?
Yeah, but now they can't get me until next Thursday.
Of course. All right, that block's fitting better. That's one of our parents who needed new tires, and I told her I'd mount them for her. It just came in. So, we'll see if we can help her though. All right, we're gonna heat that. Use the block. Okay, so let's hit it again. Stick the block in there and hit it, and that way consolidate some of that force. Now I could hit the oxygen booster and slit that and then smack it so it'll slide together, but I think we can stretch it back into place first. Let's try that with the block in it. Get this enough of it hot enough to expand and stretch. Shrink that center. Okay. Get that off. Get the block in. Probably start it right on fire. Probably got my head in the way, don't I? Okay, let's take a close look, shall we? Pull you guys off. Get some light, we did. Right, so that was quite dimpled there. It's still got a good dimple in it, but it's a lot straighter. So we'll be able to box it, I think, and be good. We still got a little bit of a punch out here. To do that, I'd have to heat this whole section and get the sledgehammer out and whack it. But it's not that important. This is a lot straighter here in this piece. And again, we'll be able to box it okay, I'm thinking. A little wavy, but who cares? That one's a little wavy too. That dimpled when it got hit pretty good. Sorry for the compressor kicking on. There we go. Some heat and treat. A lot straighter. Now we can get all our measurements done and get that toe plate finished up. Get this welded in, get the toe plate welded in, get the pieces drilled and for the pins and for the riding receiver. So we'll be right back. You guys hang tight. All right, so we're working on getting this back brace piece done here, right? And so what we're gonna do is, it's two pieces of angle iron. We're gonna box it. It's then gonna get capped up at the top using this 2-inch flat steel, same as a quarter. Will cut, be topped at the top, capped at the top, and capped at the bottom here. We'll get everything nice and even. We're at the length that we need to be at. What we've done is we've gone and cut some grooves in here using the grinder, good old faithful. Oops, sorry guys, right over there. And just grooved it so we can get extra weld in there. It's about 22.5 degrees, something like that. Not quite a 45, because these get in the way. You can't quite do that, but it's right around 22.5 or so. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill that, get it solid. We'll flip it over. We'll grind a little bit on the back, do the same thing on the back to fill it, give us a nice patch piece. And if we have to, we can put bracing pieces across the back, you know, flat on it to do it. Drill a couple holes and do them like a rivet, you know, weld in through the holes to make sure that everything is good. And then it's going to go, if you remember from earlier, right at the center point here where it's going to go vertical up and down. And the top channel will sit on it here, the bottom channel will sit on the bottom like that, and that'll form the brace. Now when we weld it to this, we're going to put a strap on the bottom of it, a ratcheting strap, and pull it so it twists this a little bit. Hopefully it twists it and doesn't pop it off, to make sure that it's fairly straight. If it's curved a little, it's slanted, it's not a big deal. That'll be fine. But we're going to go ahead and weld up, and we'll show you guys how we're doing it. Turn off the light here because you're going to have plenty of light in a minute. Get you up on the stand and position you here. You see me weld before, so no big deal, but we'll give you a little show. And we're just gonna, I'll show you by just spot welding it right now, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the final weld off camera, because you don't need to see 1,800 minutes worth of welding. So we've got the welder all set up based on 1/4 and 1/4 that we're welding. Not one, yeah, no, 1/8 and 1/8 that we're welding together. We're using 100% CO2. Let me check see what the pressures are. Pretty good on our pressures. Use the lighter gloves here. And let's put the electrode right on the thing. All right. Go ahead and tack this a little bit. Oh, did I turn it on? I did. We're set at 240 and 20, which is what it's set for. This little weld right there. Make a little bit easier. Looks pretty good. Let me show you. Of course, we're using virgin steel, so it's hard not to get a good weld on that. So they look pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish welding that, and we'll come back and we'll show you. All right, so hang tight. Okay, here's how those welds came out. Pretty good. This is the interior section. I haven't ground it a lot because can't use that grinder right over there because the wheel will fit and jam. So I'm gonna get in there. I've got a sander type grinder that I can get in there with. Let's go ahead and flip it over. It got great penetration too, because when it came to go to the back side, you see some of the weld was coming through, and it had great heat marks. Now I've welded the back side and I've done some grinding here, as you can see, because at least in this section up here, it needs to be relatively flat because it goes against that piece of frame rail. 2 inches down for about 5 inches. So we've ground that pretty flat, and it looks pretty dang good. It came out pretty good. Solid welds, no cracks, not a lot of flash. Now here where we got this little difference in length here, we'll put it in the bandsaw and we'll just set it and we'll just cut it off so it's even, rather than trying to grind it down and making it all wavy and everything. We'll do that. Now next step we got to do is, of course, measure out 2 inches, cut this to fit in here, and then put the cap on. The reason we're putting the cap on is to give us more surface area front and bottom when we go into the channels. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So it will sit in here, and it's about 4 inches wide, so it's going to hit right in here. But you just have the edges of it that you weld to when you go and do that. I wanted more surface area, so we'll put the plate in on top of that. So when you put it in, the plate of contact, we'll put on the top side, we'll drill through the back of this, and then weld it like rivets. And on the bottom side, we'll go through the little plate piece that's on the bottom. So I'm always welding from the top down rather than trying to weld upwards like this, right? So we'll do that, and then we'll do the perimeter weld on it. So it'll sit on the end and cause the bracing for that. We use the angle iron, of course, because we wanted to make some semi-gussets here. So as the trailers push and pull on it, if it was flat, even if it was the 1/4 inch plate that we were going to use originally, it would probably bend it over time. With this, it's going to be a lot less specially welded in, tightly in place. So that's where we are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this measured and cut, and we'll just go ahead and get everything cleaned up, and we'll show you the final piece here that we're going to use to weld onto the frame piece. And we'll show you how it's going to go together. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, there's the back mount. I have it up in the relative position it's going to be in. All the welds came out really great. We did interior, as you can see, welds in the exterior. The center and the back we ground down. We got to do a little bit more grinding because it's tilting it just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. You can see down there where we welded. Got great heat penetration, so this is going to hold together great. And again, let's grab a piece of C-channel. I don't know if this is the correct one. Give you an indication of what we're going to do here. And it may be too heavy. I don't know. Let me put you guys on the stand so I can work with 2 hands, because that's a heavy channel. You cannot monkey it with 1 hand. Maybe somebody can, but not me. All right, let's get you in here. Get you set up here. You can see it, and then I'll monkey it in. Here, yeah, this is the bottom piece, but this will fit on here. Now this is up because what's going to happen is this will move forward so that it welds right to the bracketing piece, right in the middle of it. Okay, we'll pop a couple holes here so we can meld and rivet it down. Then we'll get inside and do our best to weld it. Now what we're going to do here, you can see, I've already done it. As I've marked where it sits, we're gonna go ahead and cut that out, and then like a, I don't know, what is it, a 1/4 inch off of the top piece here. So this sits down in there, and it'll be level at 2 inches where it's supposed to be. And of course, we'll trim it off, get it to the right length. And then the bottom one, of course, will come up from the bottom, and it'll butt weld to the bottom of that instead of slicing in, because there isn't space to slice it in there with the way that hole's cut. And then we'll drill from the top of the bottom piece of this down and weld that way, so that we're welding as much down as we can. And then of course perimeter weld the best that we can on the inside for that. And then the pins, the big round pins, will drop down, right? There'll be holes, one here as far back as we can get it, and one as far forward as we can get it that doesn't interfere. It'll drop down. The pins will be in there. The receiver, the 3-inch receiver, will then ride on that. We'll have the hydraulics right in the center of it, so it'll lift it and lower it. And that's how that's going to go together. We'll weld this in. When we go to do the bottom weld and the top weld, we'll put a strap, a ratcheting strap on the bottom of it once we got it good and welded on there. Might even throw a couple bolts in it, we'll see. And we'll ratchet it to the back of that and pull it, so it kind of sets it up as straight as we can get it without getting things threatening to break off. So box came out well. That's where we are. We're going to move on to the next step, which is to set these babies up. They got to get cut and drilled. This plate, the toe plate, needs to get cut, so it'll sit down in and done that. And then we'll be able to put that up. And then once we get all the pieces centered, ready to go, we can do our welding, make sure everything's centered, and put this together, get that welded in, get that welded in, and we'll have the toe plate mechanism, the toe plate, all done, and we'll be ready to move on to that. And we got to do some work on that before we put it on and get ready to go. But we're moving, we're making progress here. All right, so hang tight, and we'll be back with the next step. Okay, so we got the box done, right? It's in good shape. It's been ground out. It's level on this. We have some bending in this, so we're going to do this in stages. We found the position it needs to be in. It's centered where it is. It's lined up on the sides. It's level. It's level vertical, and it's level here. It's not in this direction, forward and back. So you know where we go this way. So the way we're going to do that is once we have it all welded on there, we're going to go ahead and put a ratcheting strap on the bottom. We're going to go over to the differential. We're going to hook it to it, and then we're going to heat the sides of it. We're going to pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, and get it so it's more or less vertical and set. And then when we do that, once we're done with that, we can go ahead and do our final measurements for the top and the bottom piece for the actuation of the receiver. All right. So let's go ahead and we're just going to tack this. I've got it tight around, as you can see here. It's tight up against in the back and on the side. So we're going to tack the upper part. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to move the clamps around and get the bottom tighter so we're tighter in here. I've also got holes drilled in the back here. You probably can't see them too well because it's a little bit dark in there. Let me turn the light on a little bit. Okay, and I've got holes. So what we're going to do is going to go in and we're going to put weld in those holes right there. And weld it onto the back like that, so it'll be like plugs, weld plugs on there. Okay, so let me go ahead and get you guys all set up here. As soon as I get the light off. Really? There we go. There we go. Really? It's being a pain in my buttocks. There. Now we got the light off. Get you guys on the stand. And we'll do a little welding here. We've got the welder all set for it's 1/8 to 1/8 steel, dirty to clean. So what we're doing here is we're running. I didn't have a measurement on my chart for just 1/8 to 1/8. You know, it's in between 1/8 and a little bit smaller. So what we're going to actually do is going to go on to the higher one where it's a little bit thicker, so we'll get a little bit more heat in there, which is cool. Nothing wrong with more heat when you're doing welding. We're going to go do a nice tack on this and see what we get here. Let's get this cleared off out of our way. All right. Lay down a nice bead here. Oops, hang on a second. Don't want to do this without gloves. Gonna get all splatter on me. That won't be fun. All right, here we go. A little bit of false start there, and then it came in clean. Let's go ahead and do this, fill in the weld here. Yeah, it's popping around. It's not really welding super well. Okay. I'm gonna come over. Put my back and block you guys for a minute. See if we can get a better weld on this. The welds are not being super good, and it might be me coming in from an angle. Oh, and there I go, knocking off a clamp. Busting the knee up. Okay, let's try it from a different angle. Sorry for blocking you. Much better. I'm just going to complete that back weld. Okay. I'm going to do a little, you guys can't see it, but I got my back here. Let me move you. Sorry for flinging you all over the place. Can you see? Okay, I'm going to do a stitch weld over the top of that base weld. And put a little bit more in there. I'm not sure we're really welded well there, but welded well everywhere else. If we have to, we'll add some gusseting to it if we don't feel it's strong enough. Okay, so let's put a strap on it. I think we're pretty good for the most part. The bottom welds are terrible. Take a hammer to them. Of course, it's over there. I gotta go get it. Okay. They're solid but booger. You can see them here. Again, excuse my gloved hand. I'm going to abuse them a little bit. We're going to pull on them. We're going to chip on them. Ouch, that's still warm. You get plenty of penetration. The plug welds are okay. I'm going to kick the crap out of them because I don't want this to be bad. We'll redo if we have to. Just keep going until we get it right. And I think we're going to touch some of that up because you can see we don't have any connections on this side. I got like boogery welds there. So let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and we'll come back and show you what we got. All right, be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. And it never ceases to amaze me how much better the welds come out when you actually turn the freaking shielding gas on. Oh my God, amateur hour. So what I did is I chipped it out. I took the grinder to it and ground into the corners here and onto the back, and then re-welded. So you got a good heat penetration. You can see it in the back here. And the plug welds are okay. They may be brittle. We'll check them over time. They are. We'll hit it again with the shielding gas on. And actually, you can see we got some discoloration here, so it's got pretty hot. So we're pretty good here. All right, we're going to throw a strap on it and put some pressure on it, and then heat it up. See if we can't get this to come up straight a little bit. And let me go and get that set up, and we'll come back and we'll show you. But yeah, when you get set up, actually get set up, turn on your gas. You'll be absolutely amazed at the quality of your welds when you do things correctly. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so you can see the discoloration here where I torched this sucker. They get nice and hot. We had the strap on it. I managed to break the, I probably said this already in the previous, but we'll restate it again. We did pull it, but we only got like 1/4 of an inch out of it. It's still 2 inches off, and I don't think it's going to twist. So if we want to get it straight, probably what we have to do is cut it, reposition it, and re-weld it. But we're not going to do that. It's like a 2-inch difference between the top length and the bottom. We're just going to deal with it. There's still plenty of length on it to put the entire mechanism in and make sure it works smooth. And I've already figured out where the holes need to be and what the lengths are. So we're good to go. This is not going anywhere. Like I said, once I decided to get out of amateur hour and turn the gas on so it would weld appropriately. I know it looks boogie. It's boogie, but it did penetrate. It did get good heat, good adhesion. And you can see back here, well, I already showed you this, where we got the penetration on the holes. You can see them up here. Turn the light on again. Right here, you can see we got good heat penetration. So this thing's on, we're good. So we're good to go. So the next step is we're going to, as you can see, that I already outlined where this is going to sit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this out. We're going to set that on. We're going to get all our lengths cut. Then we're going to go ahead and drill the holes. That way we can drop the pins and get the receiver drilled for where the pins come through. And I've got, before that, also, let's come over here and take a look. You know, we got the big 1.5-inch pins, 2 of these suckers right here that it's going to ride on. This is the 3-inch there. We got this for further the square tube. We got some side bracing we're going to put in. We'll show you that. So where is my tube? I've got circular. It's in here somewhere. I promise you. There it is. Buried under here. A section of what is this? That's 1.5 inches. This is probably 2 inch. Yeah, 2 inch tube. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut little sections off of this, drill a hole, put a grease zerk in it. It's gonna go on top of the holes that come through on the 3-inch tubing, and we're gonna use it to grease it so we can fill that grease and it'll slide up and down on greased pins. So that's where we're at. Next step, next phase, I'm gonna do that, and we'll get this toe plate totally together here with the mechanization for it on the receiver. All right, so we'll be right back with that. All right, so let's do a quick update here on where we're at. Okay, we talked about not necessarily pulling that back more forward because we didn't think it was going to twist, right? So this is how it lays out, if you can see. We're at a little bit of an angle coming like this. Now it doesn't sit flat or square on these, so I'm trying to determine if it's a real issue in terms of the welding, just to make sure that we get good adhesion, because I got a gap. I'm putting my hand back here like this. There's a gap, so we're going to have to do something there if we decide to leave it like that. It's pressed up. Everything's level. This is level. That's level. There's a 1/2-inch spacer. I got it so it's riding in the tube, right, for lengthwise. And then the pins will come down right about here and right about here. And then it'd be right in the middle where the, let's see if I can show you. Pins will come down here and here. And then right in the middle is where the mechanism rides. So it rides smooth. And it's okay if it runs up and down in that gap. So we got plenty of space to do things. So it's really just an adhesion question. Because, you know, this will be fine for support and type of things. And then if we want, we can take those smaller square tubes and come across the bottom of the brace and brace these in the centers, right, up to the front frame rails. And I guarantee you this isn't going to go anywhere. But what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to pull this down, and I got the come along out. We'll put a chain on there, we'll put the come along, we'll run it, and we'll see if we can't pull it a little bit flatter to get a better adhesion so we don't have to do too much adjustment. I mean, we're still going to have a height issue in order to make sure that the receiver bar is level, because this turned out to be a little bit longer than it needed to be in order to be level. I was trying to hit it level, was off by about 1/2 inch. So bad math, I guess. But that's not a big deal, because we can, you know, I can go inside and I can weld a plate to the correct level, and it can sit level. So we won't have any. We want it level so it'll ride up and down on the pins smoothly and not get torqued when it's there. And when you hook a trailer up to the back of the thing, it's going to be fully supported. Because remember, we're going to put stuff here, right? That's right up against it, pressing. There'll be a block, a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch thick, but we'll make it a half inch wide. That'll be welded right to this, so it'll slide front and on the back side here. So it stays there, and it locks it in, and it'll slide up and down on the back plate like this. So that's what we're going to do. But I think what I'm going to try and do is pull this apart. We'll hook up the come along. We'll see if it'll move. If it doesn't look like it's really going to move really well, we'll just stop and we'll go here. I'm just trying to get a little bit more flat so that when we go do the welding of these onto this to attach it firmly, we don't have huge gaps we have to span and accommodate for and do things for if we can. So we're going to give that a shot. We'll see where we're at. If not, no big deal. We'll be just fine, and everything will fit. And then we'll do the cutout that we were talking about in the previous segment here. Get that to fit. Get all the lengths. Cut it. Weld it. Get these holes drilled first. Get all the pins set up, so that we can do the insertion. Get everything set up, and then we'll get everything welded together, and we'll be in good shape. So we're close. Okay, just a real quick update for that section. Now we're going to pull everything apart and go get everything set up to pull it. All right, we'll be back. All right, so you have to come along on it. Now, I heated the crap out of it. You can, of course, see the discoloring, but I also did it broader into here and then down a line here, so it's further down. Same on the other side. Out and then further down to see if it'll twist. It's definitely moved more, but it's under a lot of tension still. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put you guys up on the stand. We'll relieve the tension on it, see if it springs back. If it does, I think pretty much what it's telling me is that it's not going to twist into shape, no matter what we do, which is a great sign for the frame, of course, because hell, it would take a lot of force to move the things. But if not, then we'll just deal with it. All right, so let's go ahead and get you guys on the stand here. Sorry if I wheel you around for a minute and get you out of shape. Get you targeted better. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and release the tension here. I expect it to spring. Everything is pretty dang tight. From an upright position here. There we go. Okay. Hey, it did straighten up some. It's a lot better, I'll tell you that much. Still at an angle. We'll set it up. But it did spring back a little bit. We'll check it out. But it's took a little bit of it out. Well, certainly ain't going anywhere, that's for sure. I don't think it'll probably tension anymore. I mean, we could try it again, but I don't know what we'll get out of it. It's still not linear up and down, because you can tell the distance isn't straight. If I put a level on it, I'm pretty dang sure it's going to tell me still not level. Oh yeah. I mean, that's level. See how far that's out? That would have to go like what? Another, if you look at the bottom here, through the thing, at least 1.5 inches more towards the back. So we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to deal with it as it is. It will be fine, I am sure. But it did, we probably got another 1/4 inch out of it, so we moved it 1/2 inch. So we'll reset everything back up and get you guys out of the glare there and see how it goes. And get all the measurements done, holes drilled, make sure everything's good and plumb and straight on it, and we'll be ready to go. All right, so we'll be back with that in just a bit. All right, so we're cutting the length here, and I thought I'd show you how it's going here. It's on my Bauer. It's a 14-inch chop saw. It's exactly the wrong tool to use because the angle that it hits it isn't. The bandsaw over here is what I should be using. The problem is the throat isn't wide enough to allow me to put this in here. So what it does is the 14-inch hits shallow, so it's got a lot it's got to cut. Now once it gets through there, it goes through the 1/4 pretty good. I just took a break here to let everything cool down a little bit because it's running a little hot, and it's no longer a 14-inch wheel. It's probably down to a 10-inch. But I thought I'd show you. It's doing it. It's giving me a good cut where I need it to be. Again, we're going to hit this section right here at the end where, you know, you've got that welding, which this right here, this thick part right in here that it's got to cut through. Once it gets through that, it'll buzz right through. So once it gets to the quarter, it goes right through it. But this is not the right tool to use. I realize that, but I thought I'd show you guys. It's doing it. It's doing it. I'm just giving it, you know, it's hot. We're gonna give it a break. Let it cool down a little bit. The brush elements are pretty hot, so we'll give it a little break, and we'll get this one finished, and I'll probably switch to my other wheel. I got 2 of them, and to do the other one, and get it cut to the right length as well, because it's pretty heavy stuff that we're working on. But I thought I'd give you a little show you what we're doing. Sparks fly like crazy on it when we're doing it. It makes a mess. Of course it would, you know, because you got all the carbon fibers and the metal fibers coming out with that, but it's getting it done. And we'll show you the end job here. If you want, you can see some sparks. I'll show you. Flying. 4th of July show there. But we're gonna let it cool down for a little bit and then we'll finish it. All right, so we'll be back and we'll show you the results. Okay, here we are, chopped off. You can see it, you know, it's a chop saw, so it's messy, but that's okay because this is just the end cut. Nothing fine going on it, just an end cut. We'll clean it up with the grinder just so it's not flash. Cut that piece off right there, which is pretty dang warm. But like I said, the one to use is my my bandsaw, but the bandsaw throat isn't, the width here isn't wide enough to take it. It's just 6 inches, and so it won't fit in and tighten down on it. The other thing I wanted to show you guys that I did was down here we added a plate. Let me get lower so you can see it. This is the receiver bar, right, that we're doing. We also measured up the receiver bar, sorry. So we're gonna cut it off here. That's where the pinhole for the receiver that goes in. And we still gotta figure out where the top holes for the slide pins are gonna go. That'll happen once we get both of those C channels cut in position. We'll figure it out. But the other thing, what I wanted to show you here was, we'll come down here, you can see it through there. You see that you got a gap. Let's go around. This was the welded box bottom, right? And it came, and we had a spacer in here, right, to space it up. So we just found out what that was for measurement and dropped the plate in there so that receiving bar will sit level when it's in there. And the reason we want to level is we don't want it cocking one way or the other. When we put the pins in, we want to make sure the pins go in straight, so it'll ride up and down on the pins, and hopefully the tongue weight shouldn't bind it enough to do it, because we'll also put, you know what we're gonna do here, right? We're gonna take them, we're gonna box on all the way around the receiving part, right? Here's the receiver. We'll weld a half inch wide, 1/4 inch thick, all the way around front and back, so we sandwich this plate between it, so all the force goes on the plate. And then what I decided to do is those, if you remember, we have those little box, a smaller tube here, square tube, the 1.5 inch or 2 inch tube. We're gonna take, and rather than brace the bottom piece from the side like we initially showed, we're going to take and we'll put it in like this and attach it to this plate, another plate where the chain pulls go. So the chain pulls, the chain latches will sit exactly on there and connect to this back frame piecing, so it'll stabilize that, so if the trailer bucks back and forth or gets pulled, it's going to pull on the frame rail, not on the toe plate, because the toe plate will be affixed to this cross piece member as well too. So that's one of the little design changes when I was looking at it, that we're going to go ahead and do, turn it around, get you out of the sun's glare again, and move on from there. But we're getting there. And I gotta let the chop saw cool way down now. We'll do the second piece. That was the top piece that's gonna lay in here. On the top, we'll do the bottom piece. And we'll go figure out where we're gonna put the holes for the pins. We'll drill those holes. We'll set everything up, drop the pins in. We'll get the receiver bar dropped in there, and we'll mock it up first. And once it's all mocked up, we'll show you guys how it's coming out. And we'll mock it up with the hydraulic cylinder. We got that. We'll get the tabs welded onto the places where they need to go, so you can bolt the hydraulic cylinder in, and we'll get this rear section done. All right, so we'll be back. Hang tight. All right, we're back. Beautiful morning. Getting back out into the shop to do some more on the back of this 64 here with the well, oh, I got sun in your face. Sorry about that. Anyways, let me update you on where we're at. I know we just talked about stuff on the previous little segment here, but here's where we're at. We've got it all cut. We got it in. The second one cut a lot better. Remember, I was telling you on the chop saw here, it wasn't the right one. I had a thinner one, a thinner blade for the chop saw. That went right through the bottom piece a lot easier. So the problem may not have been the chop saw, it might have been the thickness of the blade that I picked. But anyways, it went right through there, cut it really good. We've got everything level, square, where we need it to be. Let me grab the level for you. Oh, we got the sun coming in here. Let me put my shadow in the way. We got the facing plate nice and level. As you can see the bubble right there. I think you can see the bubble. Anyways, right in the middle. We are going to go ahead and pull it apart and knock this plate back a little bit, because as you can see, we're right on the edge here, and we're a little bit deeper, so it's a little cantered. I'm not sure what bubble. See, even on the sideways, that's the angle one. That one's, it's off a little bit. It needs to go back that way just a little bit. But we'll do it in that direction as well too, to make sure. But it is, as far as it's up and down, and is all it's going to do is just square it up to the frame rails. But we're cut the length. We're where we want to be. Remember, this is going to go, we're going to notch this up here and drop it, so we'll lose a little bit here. It's going to put it right at the edge of the back plating right there, where we want to have it. But everything is level, everything is square, so we're in pretty good shape. We went and we made some measurements, and we're going to reference everything to the front of the base plate here. And so we're going to set our pins at 1.5 inches from the base plate and 12.5 inches. That way we'll get as far back as we can. We'll still clear the brace member, and it'll give us, you know, about a 12-inch spacing, right? 1 foot spacing between, and then the hydraulics will go in the center of that, so everything will be square. Now we go to put it together. Next step we're going to do is we're going to go and mark everything, get everything really accurate as we can get it, and we'll go ahead and we'll drill the holes in it. I'm using a 1 5/16. The pin sizes are 1 1/4, so we should be a 1/16 over. We'll make sure that we clean these off really well when we go to put them in. And let me grab my tape measure real quick for you, so you just don't see the, you can look at my ugly mug why I'm doing this. Let's go take a look at this and see that we are, yeah, 1 1/4. It's 1 1/4 is the size of the pins. So we'll do 1 5/16 inch holes on it. We'll have a 1/16 clearance. They should, I mean, they should be a pretty tight fit, but they should also slide in there, because if you do a 1 1/4 hole, of course, you know, you're not going to be able to see anything. But anyways, that's where we're at. We're stepped up. We're going to pull it apart again. We're going to get everything marked at the distances that we need, and get all the holes drilled, and then put it all together with the pins in it and everything. Make sure everything's square up, and then we'll start tacking things in place. And once we got them tacked in place, we'll recheck all our measurements. We'll recheck that we're squared everything, and then we can weld it up, and we can zip the back of this up. The only thing we'll have to do is then, once we put the hydraulics in, is set up something so that we can test for the motion to make sure everything's clear. The only concern I have, and it's not really a concern, it's just a question, is whether once we load this and we go to pull that up and down, if it'll have an issue with the weight on the front, because they'll try to canter this down, right, forward a little bit, but it should be in such a way with how the pins are inserted that it won't quite do that. All right, So we'll test that out. We'll wait it once we get the hydraulics in. We'll see if we can't come up with a test setup to run hydraulics on it off of a single control. Because, you know, we still have to put holes in it for the wiring harness. We still have to put the chain connectors on. We still got to put the block in that's going to control the hydraulics. We still got lights that we got to put on this, but that's where we're at. We'll be back as soon as we're at the next step. Hang tight. All right, so we're going to wrap up number 2 right here, and we'll have number 3 out. Should come out probably within a week of number 2, if not sooner. And hopefully it's going to wrap the whole thing up. All right, so appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. If you don't mind, do all that jazz for me. Subscribe, share, comment, click that like button. I would appreciate it. And we'll be back at you soon with the rest so we can get this toe plate all wrapped up. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.